TCP-IP. In this video, I'm going to talk about again TCP-IP, but with more detail. I know that you learned about the TCP-IP briefly in the previous video, and you know that the TCP-IP is a networking model that we are using it in today's networks. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the TCP/IP a little further, and I will give you more information about the TCP/IP fundamentals. You know that TCP/IP model has 5 layers. You know that this is the updated TCP/IP model, and in this model, as you can see here in the right side of the picture, we have the layer 1 as the physical layer, layer 2 data link layer, layer 3 internet layer, layer 4 transport layer, and layer 5 application layer. In this video, I'm going to talk about a little more about the layers of the TCP/IP. First, I'm going to talk about the application layer. Why? Because this is the first layer that is interacting with the applications on your PC. You know that for each task on the network, we need one application. For example, when you want to advertise or send your email, you need some applications, or when you want to see some web page, you need some application, or when you want to for example share the file between your system and another system, you need again some applications. Because of that, for each and every work or task in the network, we need to use the applications. Each application can do one or more than one work or task, but we need many applications for doing many tasks in the networks. Okay, let me to give you one example. I'm going to talk about the TCP/IP model in this video with for example with example about the application layer with HTTP protocol. Why? Because the HTTP, one of the most famous and most popular TCP/IP application today, and we are using every day the HTTP. Because of that, let me to talk about the HTTP, but don't forget that everything is same about the fundamental parts of the TCP/IP. If you are working HTTP, if you are working FTP, if you are working SMTP, all of them are same. Okay, only the detail of applications are different, but the function of the TCP/IP is same. Because of that, we don't have any difference between the, for example, HTTP, TCP, FTP, Telnet, SSH, or some other applications about the TCP/IP function. Let me to talk about, or start to talk about the application layer. As I mentioned before, I am going to give you one example about the HTTP. This is one of the applications protocols, and we are using the HTTP in this video. You know that in each layer we have some applications. Let me to write some of them here: HTTP or HTTPS, for example, or Telnet, and after that SSH, or maybe FTP, after that Telnet or SSH. You will learn about many of them in this course and some of them in the future course, or for example SMTP, POP3, or some other applications. But now I'm going to talk about I'm going to give you one example with HTTP. Okay, how we are using the HTTP? This question has a simple answer. Look at here. When you are using your web browser, okay, you know that in our operating system we are some web browsers. I'm not going to name them because maybe this is an advertisement. Because of that, let me to say only that we are using one of the web browsers, okay, in your for example PC, in your operating system. When you are opening your web browser and you are requesting to see one web page, you know that here in the web browser you need to type, for example, www, after that example, for example.com, or any other site name. Here we have some process. For example, we need to find the IP address with DNS or some other things. I'm not going to talk about the detail, but now we know that when you are using your web browsers for browsing one website, okay, this is the application that is residing on your operating system. This is not the application that we are talking about that in the TCP/IP. Let me to call it application software. Application software is different with the application protocol. Look at here, this is the application, okay, software. Application software is working on your for example operating system, and I'm not going to talk about the application software such as the web browser, such as other software that you are using in your PC, okay, but I'm going to talk about the application, okay, application protocol. And you know that when we are talking about the protocol, this is a software between more than one system, two system, three system. But software is working only, for example, locally. Okay, because of that, we are using the application protocol. What is the application protocol? In here, this is the HTTP, for example. You know that when you are opening the web browser requests HTTP application protocol to, for example, give this website. Look at here, the application software says that please give me or please find me, please give me this website of the web page of the example.com. Because of that, now the HTTP has one task. This is the application. You know that the first layer that is involving in the sending and receiving data is the application layer, because the application softwares ask from the application protocol that please do some things for me. Here, please give me some web page, for example. And you know that in HTTP we have some details, and in HTTP we have some, for example, codes that we can use that codes or that message for sending and receiving a web page, and also giving some information to the other side. Okay, let me to say that HTTP now is installed in your operating system. When you are installing your operating system, such as the Windows, such as the Mac or other operating system, okay, TCP/IP automatically with that operating systems is installing in your system. Because of that, you have HTTP in your system, okay, and also in the web server. The web server is a server that contain the web page or the page of your website. Because of that, here we have HTTP, and also on the web server we have HTTP. These applications are available in both devices. Okay, when the web browser asks from the HTTP on your device that please give me the example.com, okay, or www.example.com homepage. This is now the HTTP should do this task, and this is the task of HTTP now. For example, in HTTP, the hypertext transfer protocol, we have some mechanism, and this mechanism can help us to for example, giving the request to the web server, and after that receiving the web page from the web server, and giving the request to the web client. This is the web server, and the C1 is the web client, because the C1 is client of this server. Okay, look at here. Assume that the C1 with HTTP can send a message to the web server, and this message is please, let me write here, please give me, okay, a web page, or your, for example, web page. Okay, this is the message that HTTP with its internal codes should send to the web server. After that, the web server, okay, should give the web page. If we don't have any problem, the web server should send the web page, and it can say that here, for example, here is the web page or website. For example, in web page or websites, we have some pages that we call them home web page. Means that, for example, the first web page that you are experiencing or you are seeing when you are browsing one web site. For example, maybe in most cases the name of this home page is home.htm. It is not important for understanding or for informing about all of the detail of HTTP for us, because here I'm not going to talk about the detail of HTTP. I'm trying to give you more information about the TCP/IP's applications function, not the detail of the HTTP message. But this is the overall process. From the C1 with HTTP, we can send a request about the one web page to the web server, and after that web server can give us with HTTP this website. You know that this is the function of the application protocol, not web browser. Web browser only can give a request to the application protocol, to the HTTP. We can say that the application layer protocol means HTTP. It's an interface between the software running on a computer and the network itself. Okay, and this is the function of the HTTP. Let me to give you a little closer look about this process. When you are sending the HTTP request to the web server, the web server can give us some, for example, answer. Let me to write here. In HTTP, we have one interesting and also one famous message. We call it GET message. Actually, you are sending the GET message to the HTTP. In this course, but not in this video, you will learn about the detail of HTTP in future videos because we need it. But for now, let me to say one of the important message of the HTTP is the GET message. We can send GET message, GET for example, home.htm. In GET message, it's containing the web page that you want to receive. If you don't use or don't send the web page that you want to see, the default web page should be sent from the HTTP server or web server to the client. Here, as you can see, we are sending actually this message GET for home.htm. For example, this is default page, and after that we will receive the web page with another message and also another codes. Here we have, look at here, this GET home HTM is the HTTP header. You know that here when I am writing the www.example.com, the HTTP should create one message. This is the message of the HTTP. We call it HTTP header. Okay, you will better learn about this in this video, but here now we have the HTTP header. Let me to write here. It's useful for us for understanding a little more detail. This is the HTTP header. Maybe in some cases you see the layer 5 header. Okay, it's not important. And after that, when we send the get home.htm to the web server, we will receive the reply. In this reply, again, we have a HTTP header, and in this header we have one, for example, code. Let me to say that when you are receiving the code 200, this means that everything is okay